Yeah, so food is medicine. This has been one of the things that's helped me the most over quite a long period of time. So basically, when we're looking at food as medicine, it's not only about, well, it's as much about the quality of the food as it is about the way and the times that we eat it, and the regularity especially that we do it. I had somebody close to me saying for years, you know, you need to eat stable, consistent meals and it will solve a lot of your problems with, you know, the chaos in your life, and it'll also help you start to restore your energy back into your body if you do this. And I just resisted that for a long time and didn't believe them. Eventually I started to do it, and that was one of the times in my life where there was a big turning point where things started to get a lot better after I did that. Yeah, so we're looking at wanting to eat stable and consistent meals. And why would we want to do that? Basically, like as with the foundational rhythm of getting up when the sun comes up and slowing down at night, going to sleep when it's dark and all that, there's been a very long history of humans getting up and eating whatever was left over from the day before for breakfast, going out and getting their lunch, and then having that left over and eating dinner, and you know, so on. So the part of us that thrives on regularity and rhythm is the same part of us that stores energy into our body structure, like the nutritive part. So that nutrition and nourishment within us is related to those rhythms. So if we start, even if we keep exactly the same diet, eat the same food we got, and start, so we get up, we do some kind of, get out of bed, do some kind of movement thing, take a 20-minute walk, then come home, eat our breakfast, then go to work. Even that start to the day is going to be so beneficial. It's going to put us back into that foundational rhythm structure. And then if you eat another meal at lunchtime and another one at dinner, what will happen is your body will start to trust that it's going to get what it needs to build blood and substance back into you, and that'll make you store energy. So that's that. With regard to the type of food, obviously it's always good to eat you know, to eliminate non-foods like sugar, low-grade dairy, processed foods, stuff with lots of preservatives in it, corn syrup, you know, all of these kind of things, and take on, you know, eating lots of vegetables and some good quality meat if you can afford it, and you know, free range eggs, things like that, fruit, but also if you're eating grains, getting whole grains and, you know, and stuff like that. That's definitely an important thing, but more importantly is some general principles. So what we want to do with a chronic condition is through food is you want to firstly regulate, and secondly tonify. So regulate means make the body do what it's supposed to do, So when we've got this pathogenic invasion that we've got, the body's basically, the way the body's supposed to operate and the things it's supposed to do, it's been somewhat dismantled. So regulating is making the body perform its functions how it's meant to again. So a good way of thinking about how that can be achieved is chai tea. So if you get chai tea, you take out the sugar and the milk and the tea, just leave the spices. If you put that into your food, it's going to make your body, it's going to warm your digestion and make your energy circulate and make you metabolize properly again. Particularly the cinnamon and the ginger in it, they're really good at taking heat in the body and making it do what it's supposed to. And yeah, and so that's regulating. You want to warm the digestion and make the food easy to digest so it goes in well, you know. So there's a lot of diets out there that say you should be eating, you know, green smoothies this big for breakfast and stuff like that. And I think, I'm not saying they're all bad and they wouldn't work for you or different people, and particularly people in their own circumstances with their own set of needs. But the folly is with a lot of these dietary trends is that they focus on what's in the food and what it would do to you if your body were to digest it, rather than the state of your digestive system itself. Because if your digestion is very weak and low, you're going to take a 1 litre green smoothie with, you know, a zillion different things in it and drink it, and you probably won't digest a thing, and it'll just make you feel bad and will weaken that warmth even more, or at best, you know, just not give you much. So the old medicines, they say you want to warm the digestion and nourish the body. So that's that's part of that. And so the regulation is making that function happen again and restore it. One of the best things I've ever found for this myself is meat that's cooked well and prepared well. So for about 2.5 years I ate a bone broth type red meat stew with lots of greens cooked in it nearly every day, and cook it for about 8 hours, so it's really digestible by the time it cooks. But one of the little understand things about meat is that it's a medicine to make your metabolism, put your metabolism back into the building and storing again. So the red meat makes your body make the blood and store it into your cells again. Because with the chronic conditions, those functions get taken away or weakened. So that takes me to the second one, tonification. Tonification means to make the body strong again. So when you eat red meat, it tonifies your blood. It makes your body strong in that aspect of making blood and substance and storing it into your tissues. So there's different things and ways to tonify, but some examples are of tonifying foods. Chicken tonifies energy and fluids. Red meat tonifies blood and substance. Seafood tonifies deep structure and substance, like more on the bones and joint levels. Dates, any kind of dates are very tonifying. Let me see if I can remember some others. Guess you could say pink salt tonifies minerals, because there's so much in there. Things like Tulsi, Ashwaghanda, liquorice. These are all things that tonify. The things that really put a lot of strength into your system. They're the things we want to be eating. But yeah, because your body is supposed to turn heat into warmth, and that digests your food and then nourishes your tissues. But it's because we've had that messed around with. We want to be eating warming food. That's where the spices come in. That's cooked again, and that's easy to digest. So it's not only putting lots of goods back into us, it's also restoring our body's ability to be warm and digest and store energy back into ourselves. Yeah, I've got some great recipes, but I don't believe they're for everyone. If you want to know about them, you can email me. Okay, and routines. One of the reasons I didn't adopt the food eating routine for so long was because it's boring. Also why I didn't want to get up every day and do the same thing, do exercise or whatever. Again, it's boring. Routines are boring. They're stable and consistent things that you often have to make yourself do. But if you do them, they give you energy. Like every day I get up, I don't want to do my morning practice, and almost every time, by the time I'm finished it, I'm very happy for it. That it's happened, because it's given me all this energy and made me feel better, and my body's on a journey of slow improvement. But one of the reasons that that's the case with routines is because that's a very different part to us, to the part of us that gets inspired. The part of us that gets inspired thrives on adventure, travel, spontaneity, new vistas of experience, these kind of things. So that's very different to going to bed at the same time every night, getting up at the same time every morning, doing the same walk, eating the same breakfast. We're talking about very different things. So what I wanted to say about this is, other than highlighting that fact, because if you follow the routine side, it will make you feel better, and then this part of you will feel better too, and then inspiration will come through as a side effect. Likewise, if you follow the inspiration, you can get energy too. But that way, in our current cultural situation and in the context of chronic illnesses, is way less working for people than the other. And the thing I wanted to say about this is that in our culture, this spirit of adventure is getting fed a lot by drugs. And I'm going to say drugs with a little d. I'm not talking about heroin, cocaine, ecstasy and ice and things like that. I'm talking about at the higher end of the scale, about tobacco and alcohol, and I guess coffee as well. And at the lower end of the scale, chocolate, black tea, even green tea. The reason I'm pointing this out is because if something is psychoactive, that is, if you put something into your body and it changes your consciousness really quickly, then that thing that you're taking hasn't giving you energy. It's using your energy to change your state of consciousness. So, give an example. Coffee's a good one because coffee's a really strong thing, and it's deemed to be safe in our culture because science has studied it and says it's good for this and this thing or whatever. But the amount of coffee you need to drink a day before... Okay, so you drink the coffee, it gives you a different state of consciousness. It takes energy away from you to do so. So, how much coffee do you need to drink before it's taking more energy away from you than you can sustain on a daily basis? The amount of coffee required to do that is 1 shot of coffee. And if you consider that a lot of people now's everyday morning cover is a triple shot cappuccino or whatever, this is why I wanted to say this stuff, because all of these substances, they ignite our spirit of adventure and make us feel better and inspired, but at the same time they're using a lot of energy to do that. Even like chocolate's very misunderstood. Yes, it's full of minerals and nutrition and it's kind of good for you, but it's a psychoactive substance. It changes your consciousness quickly. It's a drug with a little d. So just be aware of that. If you've got chronic fatigue, you don't have resources to draw from. You're already in the situation where you're depleted, and you might even be in a loop where you're getting more and more depleted. You don't want to be throwing 4 or 5 or 6 shots of coffee on that a day, because that's going to probably make things worse. Yeah, and I don't think these things are bad. I use them myself. I just do so with caution and at the right time for whatever context I need to use. But I also find it quite hard personally to recover from these things and not have some kind of kickback from using them. Yes, so that's about it from me, I reckon. I wanted to just thank you all for listening. To thank Kay and Aaron Morley, my mum and dad, for raising me and taking care of me, and all the other great things they've done over the years. Donna Hunt for lending me the equipment and helping me make this video. Yeah, I'll put my email at the end, and you can email me if you want any of those lists of things that I talked about. And yeah, good luck on your journey of recuperation and or stabilization or whatever it is with your chronic condition. Bye bye.